As we join Syracuse coach Jim Boeheim on the video call center. Coach, we can't thank you enough for joining us. And just so you know, John came to this show not in great shape, and he is not following the game plan. If you have any insight on how we can get things turned around, please.
John goes his own way.
I don't know.
He goes his own way, and if you play any game with him, you're going to lose. Even if you don't lose, you're going to lose. Like, even if you beat him every time, like a month later, he beats you every time. So you got to give that up.
What was he like to coach?
He's a great player. He was really good to coach. One of the better offensive players I've ever coached. He could get the ball in the basket, and he thought he could beat anybody, and for the most part, he could. He was a tremendous player.
Coach, a big summer for you guys. You're taking the crew over to Italy. Tell us about that and how that's going to go for you guys.
Well, we try to go overseas when we have a young team. We have 5 freshmen coming in, 5 sophomores, and 3 juniors, no seniors. So we're losing a lot of veteran firepower this year. So I think for these young guys to be able to have 10 practices, play 4 games in Italy, and then, you get to eat a lot of good food over there too. So I think we're all looking forward to the trip. We're going to great cities, Florence and Venice and Lake Como, and then down and finish in Rome. So it's a great trip, and I think it'll be a really good basketball experience. Normally, when we go on a foreign trip, we have great years. That extra time does help.
So, Coach, I have a quick question for you. How do you feel that Joe Girardi is going to do in his freshman year coming into Syracuse this year?
Who? I didn't hear that.
Joe Girardi.
Well, Joe is a tremendous player. He's a player of the year in the state. He led his team to the state championship in basketball and in football. He's a tremendous competitor. He has an adjustment. He's coming from a smaller league, but he's an unbelievable competitor and shooter. And we need shooting. I think he'll be able to help us right away. We think we have 5 freshmen that can help us. We have 2 6'11" kids and a 6'7" and 2 guards. So we think our freshmen are going to help us. We got a really good sophomore class and a couple really good juniors. So I like the makeup of our team. We kind of struggled a little bit up and down the last 2 years, but I think this team has a chance to be really good. Just a question of our backcourt will be freshmen and sophomores, and to see how they adjust to college basketball. Some freshmen, they step in right away and they're able to do it. Other freshmen sometimes need a year, so we're hoping these guys are more ready to step in. But we have some sophomores that played a lot, and our 3 juniors all started at one time or another here the last couple of years. So we've got a little bit of experience and a lot of young guys that we think are good players. But Joe Girardi can shoot the basketball, and when you win state championships in 2 sports and you're the MVP in both, football and basketball, that's a pretty good competitive guy.
Coach, obviously the NBA draft lottery is next Tuesday night. Huge night for the Knicks. You went up against Zion Williamson. You're familiar with Ja Morant. Tell everyone your impression of each of these 2 guys.
Well, Williamson is a once-in-a-lifetime player in college basketball. He's the only player that we played against in my 43 years here that can just dominate. He's physically, you can't match him. I think the NBA will match him a little bit better. I think he won't be able to do some of the things he did in college. Another thing, one of the greatest things he does is defense. He overplays and pressures, and I'm not sure that's that big of a quality in the NBA. There isn't that much pressure defense, but he's a pretty good shooter. He's very competitive, and he can put the ball on the floor and make plays. Over the course of the regular season, he'll be a hard guy to defend and to handle. I think when you come to playoff basketball, he's going to have to expand his game a little bit because there's a lot of size in the NBA. People forget there's a lot of big, strong guys in the NBA. In college, he was by far the strongest, toughest guy in college basketball. Morant, I've only seen a little bit. He looks like the real deal. From what little I've seen, he looks like the point guard you want to have in today's NBA, a guy that can go by, make plays, and still make shots. So he's an interesting prospect. everybody's going to take Zion first, but Morant is a real interesting prospect. What he might be able to do. The point guard really drives the NBA, and from what I've seen, if you look at the teams like James Harden, Houston, Steph Curry, if you really look closely at the teams, their point guards really is a big position in the NBA, and Morant could be one of those top point guards someday.
Hey, Coach, we can't thank you enough. Enjoy the summer, and if we continue to have problems with John, we're going to make sure to give you a call here in the next couple of days.
I can't. Nobody can quite handle John, but it's all right. It's in a good way.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.